Being that Meganium is my favorite Legends EA starter, I had to build a team around its new Mega Form. With its impressive 60-point special attack bump in its Mega Form and extra 15 in defense and special defense, this thing becomes an incredibly bulky and powerful special attacking threat in ZA ranked battles. So getting into the team breakdown, first and foremost, we have Mega Meganium here. Absolutely awesome Pokemon. I love the design. Very, very cool. We're rocking 252 HP, 252 special attack, and 4 speed with a modest nature. We're rocking Leaf Storm, Dazzling Gleam, Reflect, and Light Screen on this Pokemon. The Reflect and the Light Screen are nice as a lead for this because I can get the screens up and swap to something else, giving them a defense bonus, or I can alternatively keep this Pokemon in and do some big damage, maybe snipe a KO with Leaf Storm before I make the swap. Next up, we have Charizard on this team. We're rocking pretty much the exact same EV spread, if not, yeah, it is the exact same. 252 HP, 252 special attack, and 4 speed with a modest nature. We're rocking Charcoal on this because we're running 2 fire-type moves with Heat Wave and Flamethrower to do as much fire-type damage as possible. Dragon Pulse and Air Slash there for coverage options as well. Really powerful special attacking sweeper with Charizard. And finally, to round out the Fire, Water, Grass core, we have Greninja here. And this, again, running that 252 HP, 252 special attack, and 4 speed with a modest nature. We're rocking a Focus Sash on this thing because Greninja is relatively frail. We're rocking Hydro Pump because I hate how Water Shuriken works if you're not Mega Evolved. Dark Pulse is here, Ice Beam, and Protect to try and save us from any attacks if we can get it off in time. I think this is a really solid Fire, Water, Grass core for this particular team, and I absolutely love how it's been playing thus far. So that's the team. We're going to hop into the battles. Make sure you like and sub for more ZA content, but let's get into it. Alright, so I'm recording this in post because apparently my microphone didn't work, but basically the idea is I lead with Meganium on this team, right? So I'm looking around right now. I see a Gardevoir. I'm like, okay, I can get screens up. This is not a problem at all. They're going to hit me with a Mystical Fire. It doesn't do that much damage with the screen up. And then I'm just kind of looking around. I'm ready to get into the battles, figure out what is my target. That Slowbro's looking juicy. I gotta say, the Slowbro looking mighty juicy. I shoot off a Leaf Storm, but the Moonblast gets there first from the Gardevoir, so I'm just kind of screwed there. And now I gotta be careful because I'm like, okay, that's a Vanillix that's coming to get me, right? And Meganium's not going to like that. I'm going to secure that KO with my Charizard. And then I'm looking at this Tyrantrum. Yes, I have a type disadvantage here. And they went for Earthquake. Not at all sure why they went for Earthquake here. Charizard's not going to get affected by that. So I'm looking around. Gyarados is on the field. I'm going to secure the health and just kind of sit back and see what's going on. I'm going to let the Head Smash try and connect here with the Garchomp. And I'm going to shoot a Dragon Pulse at it to try and weaken it. I'm going to go back into... Oh, I tried to make a swap, it looked like. But there we go. We got... No, we didn't get a swap off. What happened there? It looked like I swapped like 2 times, but nothing happened. So I look at the field. Meganium is the play here. I'm going to get my screens down again. And I'm going to lock in here. And we're looking... I got my light screen up. And I'm grabbing Mega Energy. And I go straight for the Mega here. And Gardevoir's looking juicy. I'm going to go for the Gardevoir. And I'm going to hit it with a Dazzling Gleam before I get the drop. I go in with the Leaf Storm. That's going to secure the dub. Meganium does wicked damage. Let me tell you. Once you get it powered up, insane damage. We did good damage there to the Chomp as well. We're going to hit it with a Leaf Storm. It's not going to get away. Oh, they swapped. What a swap that was. Okay, we go into Charizard. And the Vanillix has come into play. We're going to hit it with a Flamethrower. Not going to quite do the damage we need. And we're going to go for a Heat Wave, secure that KO, and we're going to try to swap quickly here, but not going to get it off before the Slowbro hits us with the Surf. Slowbro's actually kind of goated. I've been seeing quite a bit of it on the ladder recently. We're going straight into our Greninja here, and I'm going to hit this with a Dark Pulse, but the Gyarados got in the way with the bounce and ate it, so that's a bit unfortunate. We're going to go for a Hydro here. Hopefully we secure it, and they get the swap off in time, but that's good damage. But Vanillix secures the KO there. A little bit disappointing that we couldn't get either KO. But we're now just kind of playing the field. We're seeing what's on. We know Mega Gardevoir's behind us. We got to be a little bit careful. We take a big Freeze Dry here. And we're going to swap into Charizard. We're going to go for the Dragon Pulse. That's going to do super effective damage and secure the KO onto Tyrantrum. And we're going to get hit by T-Bolt by the Gardevoir. Gardevoir only has 2 Elims though, so we're not really worried about giving up an Elim there. Looking now, we have Meganium coming back in. We grab the attack buff, and we do have our Mega, so we're going to go for it here. Slowbro's on the field. We're going to eat that up, and hopefully we can secure this before the timer runs out. Oh, what a Mega Evolution on their part. Saves them from being able to get KO'd there. Absolutely clutch Mega on their part. Oh, man. How about that? And we tie for first in this one. So, you know, this team, good first showing. Good first showing. All right, battle number 2. Do forgive whatever caused my mic audio to not sync up in this particular video. Just did not also work with my... it did cause the game audio to get all sorts of out of whack. So it's very, very odd. I don't know what happened. All right, we're going to lock onto the Ampharos. We're just going to get screens up. I think we're just trading screens here, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, we just got screens up on both Pokemon, and we're kind of at a weird type advantage here. Like, nothing on the field is something that we really want to target. Gardevoir is going to be probably the easiest to go for. So I'm going to try and shoot off a Leaf Storm, but Gardevoir does get out of the way. They swapped into Excadrill. I'm just going to go for a D-Gleam here just to get some chip, and I'm going to swap into Greninja. It plays great into both the Metagross as well as the Excadrill, and we're just going to try and get this KO'd here. Ampharos is going to take a big hit. We're going to back up with Greninja if possible, but we need to make the swap. We're going to see Ampharos go down here. Garchomp is going to snag that. We're going to hit it with a Dragon Pulse. We take that pretty well because we had the screens up, but we need to get out of the way and make a swap here. So we get into Meganium. We're going to get our screens back up. We see they swapped to Talonflame, but honestly, we're just going to ride with the Meganium here. It's not really worth swapping. It looks like we're also out of swaps at this point. So we're just kind of positioning ourselves in such a way that we'll be able to avoid big damage. That Excadrill, like, did not get hit by the Leaf Storm, and I'm not too sure how that happened. And at this point, I really want to get KO'd. I feel like I'm just kind of wasting time when I need to get KO'd. I need to get off the field because I'm out of swaps. Nothing's really working for me. Meganium's not playing very well into anything that's on the field. Honestly, the teams we're up against have really good type matchups into us. So I'm just trying to quickly snipe a KO here, and I did manage to snag the Excadrill before the Metagross took me down. So it looks like I'm going to go right into Charizard because of that Metagross. Charizard's going to play really nice. Nice to see that there's an Excadrill and another Metagross on the field. So I feel pretty good about this decision. We're going to hit it with the Heat Wave. We're going to secure the KO. And we're going to try and get a Flamethrower down real quick. And it is just out of range and we get knocked out by the Rock Slide. That absolutely sucks. The range on some of these moves is just like, oh man. It gets you sometimes. So we're going into Charizard here. And we're just going to go immediately into a Heat Wave. And that's going to hit actually both Pokemon. So then we're going to lock into Flamethrower really quickly. And we're going to secure a couple KOs. We're looking at that Excadrill. And it's looking mighty juicy. Looking mighty juicy. We eat the Rock Slide. I'm going to hit it with an Ice Beam. It's my fastest attack on Greninja. And we need to make another swap here. Going into Meganium. Taking a peek. I'm probably going to go for screens. Yeah, I get my screens up here. Go for the light screen. And I'm looking around the field here. Seeing what's going on. I'm going to get my Reflect up here because Metagross is going to cause some problems if I don't. And then I'm going straight for the Mega here. That's going to save me from the Ice Beam, from the Glaceon. And I'm going to go for a Leaf Storm. Doesn't secure the KO. That was a bit unfortunate. I'm going into Charizard, though, while I got my screens up. And I'm going to try and get at least one KO here before I get knocked out. But Bullet Punch secures it for him. That is a touch unfortunate. Bullet Punch came in clutch there, just barely taking enough damage to take my Charizard out. But if I'm remembering correctly, we did still manage to get a tie for first place in this one. Yeah, absolutely. This team cooks. This team cooks. We first place again. This team is so good. All right. Meganium comes back out. Really solid lead. I really like the Meganium lead, honestly. It just plays super nicely. I'm looking around, and I'm going to go straight for their Meganium because I just want to get my screens up. I don't really care about a whole lot else. Looks like they're going to do the same. They're just going to get their screens up. But I'm not worried about pretty much anything else. I'm going to look at this Garchomp and hit it with a D-Gleam. Good damage there. And I'm just going to get in position and try to get a Leaf Storm off and maybe secure a KO. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. We're going to hit it with another D-Gleam, hopefully securing it. Not quite. We're going to swap here, get out of the way, and go for Charizard. Now, ideally, the target is Excadrill all day here. We're going for a Heat Wave. And we do secure it on the Excadrill. Very nice. Charizard with the Heat Wave is so good. We're going to hit that Gyarados with an Air Slash and just kind of back up, reevaluate. Skarmory is definitely the target now. Skarmory is definitely the thing that we want to get the KO on, but they Mega'd at the perfect time to avoid that damage. We go for a Heat Wave, and we're going to try and lock in another Flamethrower here. But they are out of range, and we're not quite going to secure that one. We're going to go for Dragon Pulse, though, while the Garchomp is distracted, but the Mega at the perfect time causes us to miss that, and they make another beautiful swap. Very, very tricky here. So what I'm trying to do is run, because I know they're just going to go for Rock Slide. So I'm trying to get out of the way, but just clips me barely on my Charizard. So that's going to make us go down. I'm looking at the field, and I think Greninja is the play here. So I'm going right into Greninja. And I'm lining up. I'm going to go lock into a Hydro here. Now, they did KO the Excadrill, but luckily Skarmory walked right back into the field for my Hydro Pump, so I did manage to secure that KO. Now, at this point, I'm just screening up. I'm getting Meganium back in play. I'm screening up, trying to get as much defense as possible, and I'm surveying the field as I'm doing so. I'm trying to figure out what is there that's going to be problematic for me, and I'm targeting that Chomp. I'm going in, and I do have to watch that Skarmory. That Skarmory is very, very scary. So what I'm doing now is I'm just lining up my Leaf Storm, and it doesn't quite secure the KO, which feels awful. D-Gleam, obviously not in range, not going to take out that there. And I'm going to make the swap to Charizard. And I'm looking at this Chomp, and I'm thinking I'm going to hit this with a Dragon Pulse here. And at this point, I'm clicking moves to just try and get a KO. And we do. They swap right into Excadrill, and we secure that. We're going to go for the Flamethrower as they screen up on their Meganium. And they make us swap, so we're not going to finish that one off. But we're going to look at this Metagross now that came up to play. Another clutch swap. It looks like we managed to pick up a KO on something there. I don't even know what I managed to grab, but we're up to 5 Elims now. Going right into my Greninja here. I'm looking at that Chomp, and Ice Beam looks extra juicy. I'm definitely trying to get this Ice Beam down. Not quite enough to secure the KO. I've noticed that's a problem with Greninja in general. It feels like Greninja just doesn't quite pick up KOs when you need it to. And unfortunately, that Iron Head was just in the right range to defeat my Greninja. So it looks like we're going to lock in a second place for this particular battle. But still a really good showing for this team. All right, Meganium back in the lead. Really enjoying Meganium quite a bit. It's just such a good Pokemon. And with that Mega and getting that boost in the special attack, it does insane amounts of damage. Especially with the bulk it gets from having the screens up. So nice for this particular Pokemon. So we're just looking, seeing what's on the field. We're going to get our screens up. Going into the Chomp here, even if we have to swap, seeing that they have that, seeing that they have the Charizard on the field, I'm fine making that swap. And we're gonna try and line up a Hydro here, but I think they get the swap off in time. They do, in fact. So we're a little bit out of sorts here. We're gonna look at this Metagross. We're gonna go for the Dark Pulse. We got our screens up. We're not worried about taking too much damage here, and we're gonna go lock in for an Ice Beam really quickly. And I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Hydro again. While they're stunned, they're going to make another excellent swap here. And at this point, I'm just kind of targeting whatever I can. I feel like I waste a lot of time here not getting a whole lot done. And I try to make a swap, but it's just not going to happen. I got a little greedy here. I definitely looked like I was going for an attack there, but needed to go for a swap with that Feraligatr hot on my tail. So, little greedy on the play there. Puts me a bit behind in the early game, but I go right into the Mega Evolution. And I'm just going to go ahead and get in position to try and Leaf Storm this thing. Oh no, I got my screens up. Okay. So I'm looking at this Stunfisk, and Stunfisk has 2 Elims. At this point, I'm really behind the game. I'm really not in a great position. And I just got rocked by, was that a Flare Blitz from that Charizard? I don't even know what that was. But I'm just locking in here. I'm trying to get as much damage down as I possibly can. We miss with the Hydro. And we're going to try and reposition again with another swap and try and lock in a Heat Wave on Metagross here. That is going to secure me a KO and get me started here in this battle. I'm going to try and lock in a Flamethrower. Oh no, that was a Dragon Pulse to knock out the Stunfisk. And the Flamethrower doesn't KO. That Stunfisk is bulky as can be. We are way behind here in this particular battle. We are super behind. I'm looking at the field. Greninja looks pretty good. There's 2 Pokemon that are weak to it. That one goes down immediately to that Stone Edge though. Hydro connects, and we do take the KO on Aggron, which is huge. Garchomp's chasing us down. We're going to make the swap to Meganium, and we're just going to set Dazzling Gleam here. At this point, we missed. That's fine. They started running away. We're going to go right back into our Mega Evolution. Feraligatr's coming at us, likely looking for an Ice Fang there, but goes down to the Gyarados. And I'm just kind of sitting back. I'm waiting for some damage to go down, and I'm going to try and make a snipe here. And we do secure the snipe on the Stunfisk, which is absolutely huge. We're going to make the swap to Greninja, and I'm going to try and target down this Charizard. I couldn't think of what Pokemon that was. We do land the Hydro on the Charizard. I'm trying to make a swap quickly here, and I do manage to get into my Charizard. I'm going over. I'm going to grab that boost. I'm going to steal it from that Chomp, and I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch. I want damage to get put down because we're out of swaps, and I'm trying to just get a quick snipe on something before I go down here. So I'm just kind of watching, seeing what's happening. I'm going to go for a Dragon Pulse here. And I do steal the Feraligatr, making me tie for first place. That's crazy. Positioning is everything in this game. If you can just sit back, even if you're out of swaps, sniping a KO is going to help you out so much in this game. Another first place with this team. All right, this team's been hot. This team's been hot. This whole set of battles, this team's just been going. Absolutely love this team. It's so much fun. Really solid Firewater Grass Core. Meganium back in the lead. We take a peek, see what's around us. There's a Frostlass across the field. The Excadrill's there as well. We're going to get our Reflect down here. Probably just set our screens. Gyarados is there. Probably looking for a bounce on us. I'm just going to double up on my screens, and we're going to try and run, but that bounce is just going to flop right on top of us. So we're just going to keep running. Keep moving. There's a Heat Wave. I make a swap into Greninja. Feels like the safest play. 2 Gyarados on the field, a skosh scary. We're going to go for the Hydro here. And we're going to connect with the Lucario. They walked right into it. That's beautiful. We're going to go back into Meganium here. And honestly, all of these Pokemon are just not ideal. Like, we're just not having a good time with the Pokemon that are on the field currently. And I'm running away from this Metagross. I'm going to switch into Charizard here. And Charizard actually feels pretty decent with everything that's on the field. I'm going to try and secure the KO on Metagross because this Gyarados is scary. We're likely going down to Gyarados here. Nope, they went for the bounce on the Metagross, actually. And I'm going to try and line up this Frostlass really quick. And unfortunately, it Mega Evolves right as I'm trying to Heat Wave it. Not going to secure that KO. Gyarados takes me out. I'm looking at the field. Greninja looks good here, right? There's a Garchomp on the field. There's a Gyarados, which isn't going to do a whole lot to us. I'm just trying to pick a target here, but, you know, Metagross Mega Evolved right as I hit that Dark Pulse. Not going to secure that one. I'm peeking at this, and I'm trying to just snipe some KOs here. Do manage to pick up the Gyarados after the bounce with the Hydro Pump, so that felt pretty good. I got to watch out for this Lucario. They do manage to hit the Aura Sphere on me, and I'm just kind of baiting them over to the side where I have a little bit more of an advantageous position. And I'm just trying to line up here. I'm trying to get this Flamethrower down before a KO can be secured, and I do manage to snag it on that Lucario. Looking here, I'm trying to hit this with a Dragon Pulse. I don't know that I'm going to get it before Gyarados, and I do not. Gyarados snags it. At this point, I'm backing up. I need to get in a better position, and I'm looking at Gyarados, and I'm like, it's Mega Evolved. It's time to go in. Mega Evolve on Meganium here. I got the Mega Evolve off at just the right time to avoid the damage from the bounce, and I have to back up. I took an Ice Beam from something. Make one more swap into Charizard and try to reposition here. I'm going to go for Flamethrower. And that secures the KO on Mega Metagross. Now we have to watch for this Excadrill here. They start running away, and I'm not really sure why. They started running away instead of just going for like a Rock Slide. Maybe they weren't running Rock Slide, but I'm in kind of a bad spot. I do get taken out by the Thunderbolt here. Just a bit unfortunate there, but, you know, we were out of swaps. It was time to get reset anyway, so we're looking at the field here. Greninja comes in. We're just locking in Hydro. We take the Charizard and do some damage to the other Pokemon around it. Very, very nice there. We're going to hit this with a Dark Pulse just because, and we're going to make a swap really quick to avoid the damage from that bounce. We're going to go for the E-Gleam here, and we are going to take this hit, so I'm trying to line up for a Leaf Storm, and we do secure the Gyarados. Nice. Excadrill's here, causing problems. I'm trying to lock on for a Heat Wave, but game over before I can lock that in. Let's see where we finished. I didn't actually pay attention to the elims that one. Where did we line up? Was that another first place? Yeah. How about that? All right. This team is so good. This team absolutely fries, dude. It's so much fun. All right, we're going into the next battle. The one thing I want to mention is that only one Pokemon on this team, that being my Greninja, is actually Hyper Trained. The Meganium and the Charizard are not Hyper Trained on this team. So take that with what you will. You don't have to have perfect IV Pokemon. Yes, it's optimal. Yes, it's very, very much optimal. But you don't need it in order to actually succeed in this game. So immediately we look at T-Tar. We're going for Reflect. We're going to go for Light Screen. We're just setting up here, right? And immediately I regret my decision because that Avalugg comes in and takes my Meganium. I got a little bit greedy there off the rip. And looking at the Pokemon, I'm just like, man, I really don't have great type advantages here. So I'm just trying to position myself in a way that I can maybe snipe a KO. I'm looking at that Avalugg, and I do snag it with my Charizard and the Heat Wave here. I'm just going for some damage here. I do take a wicked Hydro Pump from Vaporeon there, and my Charizard goes down. Looking at the field, I'm seeing a lot of water types and a ground type. I'm swapping into Meganium all day here. I'm lining up. I immediately saw Vaporeon. I wanted that Leaf Storm to KO, but unfortunately not going to be the case. So I'm just going to screen up here and go for the Mega. And I'm looking at the field, checking everything out. I see that... What is that? It's a Galarian Stunfisk. I was like, what is that? So we're lining up here, trying to secure a KO. Unfortunately, they landed the dig, so I'm not going to get that KO. And honestly, this is just kind of a wonky situation. I'm trying to line up a Heat Wave here to secure that KO. I do manage to get the Galarian Stunfisk, and I go down to a T-Bolt Brave Bird combo from the Gardevoir and the Talonflame. And honestly, at this point, we're in a decent spot, right? We have 2 Elims. We're not super far behind. We don't have to stress too much. I just kind of have to play the field accordingly. So I'm looking at Avalugg. That's the target I definitely want to go for here. And I do quite a bit of damage there. I'm lining up. I want to get this Flamethrower down, and it doesn't quite take the Gardevoir, which is unfortunate. We get the Air Slash down. We got a Rock Slide coming in. I make a quick swap, but it wasn't quick enough, and Gyarados takes me down. The swaps are so weird in this game. Like, you have the animation, and you just get got. The weird thing is, we're battling in my spawn. There's not a whole lot I could do. Hydro Pump's going to get blocked by the fence here. Kind of in an awkward position just with the fact that, you know, they are in my spawn. Like, what am I actually going to do in this situation? I try to get the attack boost. They snagged it before me. Not a whole lot I can do there. I'm looking at the field, though, trying to decide what I want to go after. And that Avalugg just keeps chasing me. Gets a little scary. I'm locking in a Hydro here. Do big damage. And I'm looking at this. I'm trying to land something. And a Talonflame comes in, swoops me and the KO on the Stunfisk. So I'm just falling behind here. This Gardevoir team is absolutely shredding people. Absolutely shredding people. I'm looking. I'm getting my Reflect down. And immediately, I'm going for the Mega. I'm locking in a Mega here. And I'm looking at that Avalugg, and I'm scared. I'm very scared. Trying to find the best target here. I'm going to wait for Avalugg to do some damage, and I'm going to lock in Leaf Storm and secure a KO very quickly there. Talonflame comes in. I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I am just in a rock and a hard place with some of these Pokemon. I make a swap. Well, they make a swap, and I hit Hydro. We don't go down. I think we tied for second there. That was kind of a tough, tight matchup for this particular team. Let's double check where we ended up here at the end. Yeah, tied for second with this team. That one team, the Gardevoir team, was just shredding. Absolutely insane work. And I believe this is the final battle with this team. Honestly, this team has done wonders thus far. Absolutely been loving how it feels. Mega Meganium is so much fun to play. So much fun. All right, Meganium comes out. And we're going to take a peek. We're going to see what's on the field. Everything looks good so far, minus that Charizard. I got a little spooked by seeing that Charizard. We're going to look at the Ampharos, and we see the Charizard come into play. We got to keep eyes on that Charizard. We're going to make a swap. No, we're not, actually. We're just going to let the tree eat the Flamethrower for us, and we're going to kind of reposition. We're going to let that Ampharos kind of deal with the Charizard for us. Yep, perfect. And then that means we can just start going in and trying to deal some damage. Honestly, they got some relatively bulky Pokemon that don't take a ton of damage from what I'm working with. So I'm just going to get my screens up playing with Clefable here. And I'm going to run over to where the party's at and just try to get some chip damage where I can. Make a swap here. I'm targeting the Garchomp, but they also swap. So I'm a little less enticed by the Chomp here. I'm going to go for an Ice Beam. Just try and get some chip. We take a massive hit from Clefable, and we're going to make a quick swap here. Clefable is a problem. We're going to go for Heat Wave. We're going to go for Flamethrower most likely next. Yep, Flamethrower. Big damage. And they're actually going to KO us there. That's crazy how much work that Clefable has put in. We're definitely behind that. Ampharos is just taking Elims left, right, and center. So we're taking a peek. We're seeing what we can line up and attack for. Looking at that Chomp, but then they make the swap. I got to play this very carefully. I'm waiting to see what happens here. If they can get some damage down on Chomp before I make an attack, I would really like it. But unfortunately, they go ahead and they make a play that just secures them the KO, and I'm going to go down to a Hurricane, putting me even farther behind. Very, very scary situation where, like, I am way behind on Elims at this point. And I'm immediately looking, and I'm going for a Mega here. And I'm seeing this Chomp. I'm running up for a D-Gleam. They're going to swap at the perfect time. I can get nothing done in this battle. Once again, another swap. Can't get anything done. We're going to take a Flamethrower here, and it's not going to feel very good. I'm looking at this Glaceon, though, and I'm like, I'm going to hit this with a Flamethrower. Please let me hit this with the Flamethrower. Another swap. I can't get anything done. I am really on the back foot here. And I'm trying literally to do anything. I'm trying to get any sort of elims I possibly can. Looking at this Skarmory, hoping maybe I can get a Heat Wave down before I go down, and I die before I can. Again, 0 elims. I'm in a horrible position at this point in the battle. There's only 30-some seconds left, and I haven't gotten a single elim. So I'm really on the back foot, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Line up an Ice Beam, not going to work with the Garchomp swapping into Charizard. And I'm just trying to target something, anything. Hydro Pump locks on, and I managed to secure the KO onto the Glaceon. I'm going for a Dark Pulse, and we do secure it on the Charizard. Very nice. I can finally swap. I'm on the board, and I'm going straight into the Mega Meganium here. I'm looking at this, and I'm deciding what I want to do. I'm waiting. I know they're going to do some damage there with Glaceon, and I decide to lock into Leaf Storm, which secures me a KO not only on the Blastoise, but also onto the Glaceon. So I managed to bring myself back into the battle with 4 elims. I believe that puts me in 3rd place. Very difficult match for me. That was a very, very difficult match. Just really couldn't get anything rolling. That Glaceon was super problematic. Alrighty, folks, there's the team once more for you guys. Really fun team all around. Honestly, I really enjoy this team. It's very, very powerful. I think really the only significant change that you could make is maybe swap Air Slash out for Hurricane. But other than that, this team just cooks. It's so good. And again, none of these Pokemon outside of Greninja are hyper trained. So you can just kind of ride with what you got until you have the resources and still have a lot of success. So do remember that. But yeah, I don't think I'd really make a ton of changes to this team outside of maybe Hurricane on Charizard. But all in all, I'm a big fan. I really liked how this team turned out, and it was super, super powerful, so I hope you guys enjoyed as well. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know how you're building your Mega Meganium teams. But leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out, helps the video out, helps the channel out immensely. But until next time, peace.